Hello everyone, welcome to Test Prep by Inside IIM. Well, it's rightly quoted that practice does not make perfect, only perfect practice makes perfect. We often say that mocks are the most essential tool to improve your score. We need to take as many mocks as possible. But do you wonder why your score is not increasing even after taking so many mocks? Is your score stagnated and you're clueless about what to do? Well, only taking mocks would not suffice. Hence, a proper analysis is a must for your score to improve. But what is a proper analysis? How much time should you ideally spend analyzing? Let's dive straight into the video and find answers to these burning questions. Here are the 7 steps for an effective mock analysis. Step number 1, attempt the mocks because the preparations will never end. Seriously, the first problem majority of students create for themselves is the fact that they do not take these tests. Mocks are the most important part of the preparation for CAT. Yet, students don't capitalize on them fully. Often students do not take the CAT mocks because they have not completed the syllabus yet. A mock test gives you a reality check on which sections you need to concentrate more on. Hence, you should actually use these mock tests to pinpoint the areas in which you need to improve. Step number 2, check your percentile, rank, and marks obtained. The starting point for any mock analysis is the percentile, marks, and rank that you have scored and record them in an Excel sheet. So go ahead, knock yourself out. Check the overall and section-wise percentiles. Stare long and hard at the numbers. Extrapolate the percentiles from the last 5 mocks and see where they are going. This will enable you to keep a track of your performance over time and take some action accordingly. Step number 3, topic-wise analysis. For doing the topic-wise analysis, you can use an Excel sheet. You can select your own detailed format for this. One format which we would suggest you try looks something like this, where you record the type of questions, level of difficulty, whether you attempted the question and got it correct, time taken, if you manage to solve it later, and the learning from that question. The link to this Excel sheet is in the description below. You can download it and use it for your own analysis. Before we move to the next step, let's understand in detail a few things you need to keep in mind for the analysis of each section. For VARC, the most important thing is to get your attempt strategy right. After the mock, check your accuracy and see if your strategy is working out. Keep a log of every mistake you have made. Write down why you chose the answer and also why is it wrong as per the mock. Have a list which would tell you which kind of RCs you have better accuracy at. This would help you to choose the order of attempting. Read all the RCs again and check whether your understanding of the main idea is correct. Once this is done, go through every question and see whether your logic in choosing an answer was correct. Then tally with the explanation given and see if you got another perspective. Repeat the same process for VA. Take some time and try to crack the logic behind a parajumble or odd sentence or parasummary. Contrary to the popular opinion, parajumbles do follow a logic. Try to crack that before referring to the answer. Repeat the same for odd sentences and parasummary. Next, for DILR, the most important skill one needs to pick up is question selection and being able to let go. So based on the overall section's difficulty, after solving all questions, assess if your question selection was on point or not. If it's subpar, note down the reason you made that mistake in an error log. Also, in the metrics of the mock, check if you were wasting too much time on a question that you should have skipped or you should have not attempted as it was time taking or there were easier questions. Lastly, for QA, break the test as per the level of difficulty and go by the following approach. So the questions in QA could be divided into 3 categories, that is easy, moderate, and difficult. Now, for the easy questions, you should target a time limit of 30 seconds to 1 minute for solving the question. Ask yourself if the question is calculation intensive. If so, attempt now. If the calculations get tough, mark them for later. If it isn't calculation intensive, solve it straight away. For the moderate question, you should target a time limit of 1 minute to 2 minutes for solving. Ask yourself again if it's a calculation intensive question. If so, try the question for 45 seconds. If you feel you're arriving at a solution, go ahead. Else mark for later and don't waste any more time. If it isn't calculation intensive, solve it straight away. Now for the difficult questions, you can target a time limit of 1.5 to 2 minutes. Now, if it's a calculation intensive question, mark for later and attempt once you're through easy and moderate level of difficulty questions. If you know the concept, then solve it. Else, do smart work and use logic. If it isn't calculation intensive, of course, you can solve it and get the brownie points. The only thing you need to be good at is identifying the level of difficulty of the question. Level of difficulty identification comes through practice and practice only. Once you get into the groove of correctly identifying the level of difficulty of the problem, you can easily mark the questions that need to be done. To define the level of difficulty, always parameterize the problem on two factors. Have I seen the question before? And if I already know the concept. With the above approach, you shall be able to identify close to 70% of the doable questions that should take around 25 to 30 minutes, and the rest 5 to 10% of the questions to be done in the remainder of the time. Always have a fair bit of idea about the topics that can fetch you the maximum marks. After analyzing the CAT paper in recent years, we can see that arithmetic, algebra, and geometry generally make up a major part of the section. Let's move ahead to the step number 4, that is timing-wise analysis. Try to figure out your speed in the major areas and also check which questions took you the longest amount of time, or whether there was a particular question in which you got stuck. Also, try to gauge the amount of time you took to solve different types of RCs and LRs specifically. Understand that difficult questions should take longer to solve than easy ones. Next is step number 5, reattempt the exam. Do not look at the solutions for now. Solve the exam again. Try to solve the questions without any time pressure and see the difference for yourself. Identify the questions you missed out on and the ones you got wrong and try to solve them again. Step number 6. Make a note of important concepts and solutions. As you resolve the paper, you may come across new concepts, shortcuts, better solutions, etc. Never forget to make a note of them. By now, you would have gone through every question thrice, and because of this whole process, solutions will get inscribed in your memory. In your consecutive attempts, you will be able to solve similar questions faster. Step number 7. Draft a strategy for the next mock. Now, on the basis of your previous attempts and the analysis you have done, draw up a strategy for the next exam. Try to change things up each time before you arrive at a final strategy that will suit you. Make a detailed note, kind of an error log with all the learnings from the analysis. Refer to it before your next mock and make sure you don't repeat them. We'd suggest you to keep this video handy and refer back to it the next time you do a mock analysis. Let us know if you have any more questions in the comment section. All the best.